Good day, emerging mothers. It is Dr. Michelle Lloyd, and yes, we are here for our 2 p.m. weekly, every Thursday live. And I'm so glad that you are joining us. And I will just allow a little time for other mothers to come in. But yes, ma'am, this is our weekly live, and I am so excited about it. And so I really appreciate you all joining. You know, I'd like to, as other mothers are coming in, I'd like to first and foremost again, welcome our 45 plus mothers who joined us earlier this week. I'm glad that you've joined the group, and I appreciate, of course, even your attendance. I see you coming in. Usually we stream from inside of our Facebook group and then also on Instagram as well. So thank you so much for being here. Also, as other mothers are coming in, I would like to make mention that our complimentary masterclass, of course, the link has been posted right at the top of our private Facebook page. If you will please click that link, check your calendar, please. Of course, it's through Monday, November the 8th, all the way through Tuesday, November the 16th. It's a complimentary masterclass. There will be games, there will be prizes, of course, to help cement the practices and the principles that really ought to be taught. We want to make sure that they're taught prior to your teen, of course, transitioning out of the home. So if you will, please click that link, tell a friend, because we are, for all 9 days, we're going to have a good time. And for those 45 mothers who joined early this week, I'm glad you're in the group. Please take a peek around. There are some polls and there are graphics. Of course, there are other videos. Take notes, please, so that you can make sure you're getting all the information you need, because this group is for you. I'm simply serving and supporting you, and I am encouraging and I'm energizing you. And so please, if you will, just make sure that you're just gleaning from all the information that's being shared. You know, what I'd like to talk about on today, I'd like to talk about, just focus on the topic of what's next. You know, we have, of course, birthed these babies, and even before or even after, we have made room in our lives for them. So there was this whole big space for them in our lives. And then, of course, as they continue to grow, then, of course, they just kind of took over our lives, especially if you've had multiple children like me. I had three girls, of course. And so, you know, my life just became under the umbrella of our Heavenly Father. Our life was all about our daughters, that's for sure. And so we've created this space for our daughters. And so now that they are little by little transitioning out, and we see plans and we see writing on the wall now that these graduations are taking place. So now it's all about, as a mother, you know, what other things, what other hobbies, what other interests will begin to gravitate in that space where our teens were. And you know what? Are we looking to have independence in reference to our relationship with our teens, or are we looking to have interdependence? I just want to be clear about this, because, you know, my goal, my focus, where I'm leaning towards is to have this interdependence relationship with my daughters. Just making sure, look, they're always able to lean on me. I can reach out to them. And so as far as it being independent, whereas there's very little connection at all, are we wanting that? Absolutely not. So there's that interdependence relationship that we're striving for. So now that we've created that space, we've birthed these babies, they've grown up, and here 18 years, then they're transitioning out, or gradually, however, you know, depending on the person or depending on the situation or the circumstance, you know, it could take a little bit longer for the teen to transition out after they've graduated from college, or it could take, you know, it could be quickly. But nonetheless, just trying to give you a picture of just these different stages of what happens in their lives. You know, and it's interesting, the idea of considering any inkling of distance between us and our teens could cause us as mothers, and I'm talking to you mothers, and this applies to whether your teen has transitioned out already, or if they have yet to transition out. I'm just giving a forethought into just what happens or what occurs within a mother sometimes during this whole shifting stage. So any inkling or of distance between us, of course, and our teens could cause us to feel insecure. It could cause us to feel imbalanced, because this space that we're experiencing is almost like two sides to the coin, if you will. You know, on one side of the coin, we're acknowledging, of course, that, you know, those emotions are there and we need to try to manage those emotions. But by the same token, of course, we want them to do their absolute best. And we want them, of course, to go out and to make their impact in the world. And so on this side, we're grieving and there's sorrow. But on the other side, there's joy, because, of course, we want them, of course, to show their talents and fulfill their purpose in the world. And we want to be able to encourage them and support them as they do that. So after our teens leave the home, it may be a challenge for you. And I know many of your teens are already still at home, but for those who have already transitioned out, you know, when that first happens, it's interesting because you may find yourself, you know, at the grocery store, in the cereal aisle, and you may find yourself, you know, not necessarily needing to get that box of cereal anymore. You know, my oldest daughter, she would eat like Raisin Bran. It comes in a purple box and she'd always eat that. And so, of course, you know, was I purchasing that anymore? Well, she was already gone. And so, you know, there can be some type of shift that needs to take place, that's pressure to take place in our imagery, because, of course, you know, the situation is different. Or it could be whereas we're setting the dinner table, and of course we're pulling out just one less plate, one less saucer, one less bowl when the family and yourself, you're sitting down to eat dinner. So all of those changes and all of those shifts need to take place. And then, of course, you know, like myself, when my second daughter transitioned out, then of course it was even less dishes out of the cupboard. There were even less groceries that were purchased at the grocery store, because you know what, the energy that was brought into the household when our children were born, and then they were developing and they were getting older and they were maturing, that same energy is what left out of the door when they went off and landed on the college campus. And so that's an adjustment. So what we're needing to do, mothers, is we're needing to take that same energy that has left out of the front door to bring back into ourselves to fulfill our lives. We'll need to just grapple with that energy so that we're able to move forward and fulfill, of course, the purpose. Now, of course, you know, we're playing a different role in their lives. You know, from time to time, I'd receive a phone call, and maybe the advice was coming from the academic advisor, or maybe the advice was coming from, you know, maybe a sorority sister, or maybe the advice was coming from maybe a faculty member or a professor on the college campus. So there's other types of advice that's being received, and so it's a different role. It's not necessarily no role that you have, but of course it's a different type of role. And so allowing your team to lead those conversations, and allowing your team, of course, to steer those interactions, a lot of times are very, very helpful. So let me jump in and do this. Let me encourage you, even while your teen is still in the house. And see, some of you, you know, I know that we have, of course, some mothers who are in the group, maybe from Australia, mothers from, of course, Canada, a lot of mothers from the U.S., of course. But wherever we're from, you know, because this, as mentioned in a post that I just posted on yesterday, this is what we're talking about, a universal theme that cuts across different cultures, it cuts across different geographical locations, it cuts across different professions. If you are a mother, then this is a stage of life that simply happens. Unless there's been previous plans, whereas your teens will just remain with you forever and ever and ever. And guess what? That's okay too, if that's your decision between you and your teen. But this is what I want to do. I want to encourage you. This group is meant to encourage, energize, inspire, motivate, all of those adjectives, positive adjectives. I want to encourage you during this shift to first and foremost be gentle with yourself and recognize that this is no small change occurring. It's really not. Think about it. For the last 18 years, you've been parenting. And so to ask you to just go ahead and shift quickly, or to ask you to pivot immediately, this is no small undertaking. Guess what? It takes time. It takes time. And some parents, they may need therapy, counseling, they may need to check with their EAP, where you get some complimentary sessions with, of course, a counselor or a therapist. And so this is no small undertaking. So, but nonetheless, it's not necessarily saying goodbye to your teen, but what it is doing, it's saying goodbye to a way of life. And what I mean by not saying goodbye to your teen, but saying goodbye to a way of life, and many of you already know. I mean, my older two daughters played basketball, and so I was like a basketball mom on the bleachers, working concessions. I was a teen mom. I had a chance to interact and know quite a few mothers. I traveled with the team. You know, we were in and out of town. It was absolutely phenomenal. If I had a chance to do it all over again, would I do it? Absolutely, yes. I would totally do it. And so that way of life now is behind me. And so looking towards the new way of life for me includes you. And so as I continue to grow and mature and develop in my new role, then that's where I want to bring it back to you. Just to give you just some food for thought. I just absolutely love tossing these tips and dropping these gems so that you can have maybe not a crystal clear clue, but an idea of what may be in the future and what may be yet to come. So please be gentle with yourself and recognize that this is no small change that happens in life. Then also, what I'd like you to do secondly is identify new ways to communicate. You know, it could be maybe when your teen is on the college campus, and this is something that you'll want to talk with your teen about prior to them transitioning, is, you know, how can we stay connected? I mean, my family is close. All five of us, we are just super duper close. So is it screen time suppers that you need to have, whereas maybe there's a laptop or a big screen somewhere, whereas they're in the room and you all are sitting down and still having your family dinners? If that works for your teen and works around their schedule, digital dinners, you know, it can be done. It can be done. So talk about those different types of ways in which you can, of course, continue to communicate with your teen, and they can remain still this huge part of the family despite wherever they have decided to go off to school. And so this is what I'd like you to do now. I would like you to please, because, you know, I'd like to hear from you just a bit, and I want to just ask just a few questions as it pertains to things that I want you to think about, as it relates to finding your purpose, and questions you can ask yourself as you're still shepherding your teen towards self-reliance. This is what I'd like you to ask yourself as you're thinking through, my goodness, What is my purpose? How can I go about fulfilling my call in life? Because all of us, if we're still here, there's yet still something for us to do. And it's important that we move about the business of finding whatever it is we're supposed to do. So I'd like for you to ask yourself, and then also drop in the chat, who am I now as it pertains to my soft skills? And I think, when I think about that, and these are questions I've asked myself, when I think about that, I ask myself, who am I now from a self-awareness perspective? You know, do I know myself, or am I in tune with my emotions? Am I connected with my feelings? Whereas if my emotions are geared a certain kind of way, or if something catches me off guard, or if, you know, I see something, or if I hear something, am I intact with where I am from an emotional perspective? I ask myself that, number one. Then I ask myself, under that same umbrella, whereas who am I, you know, where am I from a social awareness perspective? You know, how am I with people? Because these soft skills, I'm unable to share how essential they are, because that next calling, that next purpose, in order for you to fulfill it appropriately, then it'll be important to know these soft skills, because guess what? We want to be able to get along with people. So self-awareness, social awareness, then also self-management. Am I able to manage myself? You know, when things need to get done, am I able to finish? Am I a finisher? Or if someone, you know, says something to me that may be discouraging and cause frustration, am I able to manage my behavior so that I am able to still respond appropriately despite frustration or disappointment or anger, etc. Next, what is my relationship management all about? Am I able to obtain and maintain relationships with other people? You know, where am I from that perspective? So I'd like us to think about that. Self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management. Listen, drop down in the chat where you think that attention, there may need to be just a little bit more attention in an area. So share that, you know, because you know what, it can be an awakening for us, or it could be something that we're working on right now, and we're about to master that here in the next 24 hours or in the next 24 days. But we want to be aware of that. Then guess what? So that's number one. I've asked myself that, and I think about that from time to time to make sure that I'm within, of course, His will, even if it's for the expansion of His kingdom. Okay? Then next, I ask myself, you know what? What is my purpose? And when I ask myself what is my purpose, I think back to some things I've done in the past. And some things I've done in the past is, guess what? I've done some coaching. I've done some training. I was, about almost 30 years in corporate America, working for first a Fortune 500 company, and then I went into a Fortune 100 company. So the first position I had was as a training officer. And so I trained the newly hired investment advisors who came on board at this investment company. And so we'd spend 3 weeks training, and I did that here in the Houston area, Houston, Texas, and then within the Texas region, also in the city of Tampa, and then also New York. So lots of traveling going on, and I absolutely loved it. Around that same time, I had my first daughter, then my second daughter, and the company said, listen, if you need to, take them with you. So they were traveling with me, and they were in a daycare that the company owned at the bottom, on the first floor of the building. And so it was absolutely amazing. But that coaching and that training, and then the second company, of course, that I went to, I was a compliance officer. And so I oversaw the compliance-related responsibilities of about 52 or 53 investment advisors. And so that role was phenomenal as well. And I noticed, as I'm thinking back to my purpose, I absolutely love coaching. I love training. I love overseeing responsibilities. I love to be a part of something that's growing and thriving and moving and exploding. I love to be in a creation mode. And so, look, guess what I'm doing right now? I'm doing just that. And it's for you. And making sure that you are on pace for your next level and your next phase in your next stage. So think about that. Drop in the chat, and that's if you know, what is your purpose now that your teens are moving closer towards that transition period and they're about to be on the other side of your door on a college campus. Maybe it's on a military base. Maybe it's simply residential independence and they're heading off to get their own apartment after they graduate, etc. Nonetheless, they'll be on the other side of your door. So drop down in the chat, what are you picturing to be your purpose? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for those thoughts. So now I'd like to share, in what ways can you serve people? And I'm just I am just sharing with you the questions I asked myself to lead me to my purpose, which is to you. So please consider that question as well. In what ways can I serve other people? You know, when I thought about that question, and as you're kind of thinking about that or jotting that down, or if you're just considering, if you will, just that question all in itself, then I think about when I headed up the homeless ministry at my church. And with that homeless ministry, I, of course, gathered about maybe 15 people, 18 people, and then including the young adults at the church, when they were to join us, it was probably about 30 people. And the responsibilities I oversaw in creating this group to go down up under the Pierce Elevated here in Houston, Texas, to feed the homeless, you know, asking the youth to put together snack packs and gathering some tracts and going down there and loving and hugging up on some the homeless in our downtown Houston area. I absolutely love that. And when I left, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I received so much. I'm thinking, I hope they got something from that visit. I mean, us, you know, bringing them snack packs, and then, you know, around Christmas, we had a whole buffet. The Chinese church wanted to join us and asked me if they could, and that they'd make tubs and tubs of chicken fried rice and shrimp fried rice and veggie fried rice, and there were, you know, egg rolls and all type of, they wanted to join and they wanted to give and support. And so I said, yeah. And I thought to myself, leaving that experience, I hope the homeless received something from that, because what I received from it in reference to giving, oh my goodness, I walked away on cloud 9 after being in a circle with them and praying and all of that. I thought, certainly, you know, I almost felt as though I had, you know, just taken from the experience, which I did, and it was just such gratification, what I felt and the emotions I felt when I left. So think about that, please. What is it that I can do? What ways can I serve people? And so drop that in the chat, please. How can you do that? What platform do you have right now in order to make sure you are making an impact in the life of someone else? Please do that. I would certainly appreciate that, as if you're able to share. And thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing, Kim. I tell you. And you know what? Guess what? We all are taking that time to figure out, and we have these seniors and then we have these other younger siblings. And so, you know, and although it may be a challenge to focus right now, I'm sure that over time there will be information that's imputed in you as time progresses. But guess what? When the time comes, you'll know You will know. I'm just sharing, he is no respecter of persons. What he have done for others, he will do it also for you. I'm confident of it. So thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate that. And so also, this is the next question. I'm so excited about it. This is the next question. So as you're thinking about what ways you can serve people, also think about this. What skills do you have to offer? What skills do you have to offer? And so also I think about all of the training, all of the exams I've taken. Being in the investment industry, I needed like the Series 7, I needed the Series 63, rather, the Series 7, the 63. I needed the Series 24 so that I can oversee and manage investment professionals. I went out and I got the Series 53 that allowed me to trade municipal bonds and oversee those who did. Also, there's another series called the Series 31 that allows you to trade like orange juice, cattle, hay. I mean, think about those things you've done in the past. All of the professional, the workshops, and I'm thinking about just when I was in corporate America, and the trainings and the leadership, of course, meetings that just taught you certain skills that you can go out and you can share with other people. How to communicate with diplomacy and how to lead an organization. All of those different types of things. Think about that because that will help you more than not with your purpose. So think about those skills, please. And then also, how can I be influential in someone else's life? My daughters and I, we have the app on our phone, YouVerse. And so we choose a plan, a Bible plan that lasts for maybe like 7 days. Might be 14 days. It might even be 5 days. And so we're all connected on that. And the goal is for all of us to do a devotional at some point during the day. I love to do mine in the morning. And really, I'm a part of really like 3 plans. One with my daughters, one with, of course, other leaders at the church, another one with some mothers. But nonetheless, how can you continue to influence others? And so that's how I, would love to influence my daughters, is us being a part of this plan. And so, my goal is that we each go around and we each choose a plan and we continue that goal, and we continue to just fulfill the role, if you will, of helping and impacting others' lives. And so this is what I would like you to consider, mothers. And in addition to that, we know we want to have fun. And so what things do you like to do for fun? I get up, I do exercise in the morning. I just have a whole routine, whether it's from my meditation and my journaling and my praying, and then I'm going right into my exercise while I'm drinking my warm lemon water or my green tea. Then I'm doing some reading. And then after that, my mind is prepared for the day, and I can just jump in and begin working, connect with my team, and we just move forward with the initiatives that we have for that day. So it could be for you, exercising, it could be reading. Think through that. Jot these things down just so it could spending time with family. It is what will help you, of course, to move closer and closer and closer to your purpose, because guess what? There's an awareness. And you're prepared, and that's exactly what you want. So this is the last thing that we will talk about. Just some tips, just some points. And usually my lives, I'm so glad that they're between 15 and 30 minutes, just so that, and sometimes it may just go a little over, but it just gives you an idea of what to consider, especially as it pertains to the discussion topic of the day. So this is what I'd like you to do. As your teens are preparing to leave the home, transition out. And some of you, of course, your teen has already left out of the house. For some of you, guess what? Your teen is graduating from college. Yay! I'm so excited about that. And I hope, this is what I hope. I hope that at your teen's graduation, just like I did in May, I took all of you mothers to my daughter's graduation, and I filmed. And, you all were able to see, of course, when she walked across the stage and when she waved after the graduation. If it's not too much, we'd love to attend your teen's graduation, just if it's not too much. Or, guess what? We'd love for you to drop some pics in the group, because guess what? That visuals encourage. It's like rich food for the soul. For other mothers who have yet to reach that point, it just gives a boost. It just gives a boost of energy and a boost of inspiration to them. So before your teen leaves the home, and even if, this is the point, I'm bringing this thought full circle to say, whether they've left the house, whether they have yet to leave the home, whether they're on their way back, this is what we want to do for our teens. We want to make sure that we are cognizant of listening patiently to them. Okay? Listen, when they're talking, or if there's some ideas and thoughts that they're sharing, unless maybe you're working on something else, and then you want to make sure that you maybe share it with them about when we can talk about it. But when it's you and your teens, let's really be cognizant to listen patiently. I know we all are busy, but these are our teens. So listen patiently, okay? And then next, let's make sure that we're empathizing more graciously. It would take us a long way. So let's make sure that we're doing that. When they need help, number 3, let's make sure that we're pointing them towards the resources that they need. Because of course, we're shepherding them towards self-reliance, right? So let's be able to point them towards some resources. And then let's discern, fourth, when we should get involved. Because guess what? I'm uncertain about you, but I just tried to do everything as mine were maturing. I just said, wait a minute, they need me, and by golly, I just got to be there. At this stage, it's good that they are able to, we're able to discern when to get involved. And then know that they will be okay. Know that they will be okay. Of course, my oldest daughter went off, and I thought, oh my goodness, nobody knows her. She knows nobody. I was going to jump on the next train smoking if help was needed. So listen, know that they're going to be okay. And then, guess what? I want us as mothers, I want us to shift our mindset, because when our teen has transitioned out of the home, I want us to shift our mindset to the idea of that we get to versus have to. Now, I just said something right there, that we get to as opposed to we have to. So when they're gone, and whether you're single, maybe the single mother is saying, oh my goodness, I have to start, eating dinner by myself. Or I have to, go to the grocery store. I have to exercise. I would just tweak that just a bit and say, ooh, I get to, enjoy this dinner, be in my own thinking. This could be a time where I'm, able to just, maybe read a book while I'm eating, or I'm just able to enjoy just this peace that maybe I haven't had all along. Or I'm able to, hang out with friends. I'm able to travel with my girls. Just all of this, I get to. Listen, for the last 16, 17, 18 years, we have been with teens. And so, do we love our teens? Oh my goodness, from the bottom of our hearts. But there's an opportunity that, oh my goodness, I get to do this. But when you're alone, or when you're no one around, I do want us to take special care of our thoughts while we're alone. Because sometimes, we can be alone and we can think, we can be in our own thinking. We want to take special care of our thoughts. So that's when we're with other people, then of course our thinking and our actions are on point, they're appropriate, they're influential, and we're still remaining positive, and all of those different types of things. Because sometimes when a situation we're lamenting, or there's sorrow, then our thinking can be drawn down as such. Okay? And then I want us to focus on being joyful, please. And then last but not least, I want us to bookend our day with gratitude. So even if we're journaling at the beginning of our day, let's write all of what we're grateful for. All of what we're grateful for. And then guess what? At the end of the day, maybe we can jump into our journaling again and just be thankful for all of what happened that day. There has to have been at least one thing that happened positive that you were able to finish, that you appreciated, someone new that you met, an encouraging conversation or comment that you received. There had to have been something. So let's bookend our day with gratitude. Let's do that. And then let's just believe. Let's just believe that, guess what? That there's still, in this time of transition, there's all type of goodness and all type of awesomeness that will happen, and that our minds will actually be able to shift. I tell you, we want our minds to shift. You know what? I love in the book of Mark, chapter 9, it talks about when Jesus casted out the demon from the boy who was possessed. And in scripture 23, I love when Jesus tells the Father, tells the people, after he casted it out, because when Jesus approached the scene, then of course the people were arguing with the disciples, saying, why can't you cast this spirit out of this demon spirit out of my son? Why can't you do it? And so then Jesus approaches, and then the people go over to Jesus and they tell them about the situation, the argument that happened with the disciples. And then Jesus casts out, and then he says, if you can, all things are possible to those who believe. So guess what? Let's believe, according to Mark 9:23, let's believe that this transition, it will go just the way it's supposed to go. And then let's believe that our life after that will be positive, and that we'll be able to move forward enjoying the rest of our life. Listen, I love you all so very much. I appreciate you. Please remember that the masterclass, it starts on Monday, November 8th. The link is right above in our private Facebook group. Drop questions whenever you see fit. I'll make sure to answer them. And I'll see you next week, next Thursday, 2 p.m. Be safe. Love you all. I'll see you then. Bye.